Okay, I am now live. Well, that was exciting few minutes. Hello everybody, this is Robert Price here, coming live to you today on Thursday at a little bit different of a time. We're actually 9 o'clock Eastern. Um, I was out with my 8 year old today for uh, PGA Junior League. And then I had wonderful technical issues, but it's all good. So I'm going live on Instagram, going live on Facebook, inside of our group, and let me get everybody where everybody needs to be. And that way, all will be fantastic. All right. Hello, hello to everybody who is out there right now, seeing that I am live. Um, we are going to be talking about golf today, but I'm also going to be talking about a few additional things. So, as folks hop in, let everybody get where they're needing to go. Also, Mm. Awesome. Okay, everybody should be where they need to be. All right. So we got folks hopping in different places. Good to see people. This is always exciting and adventurous. Every turn. Hunter Warren, good to see you out there. I'm sure I have some different folks coming because of the time change. So allow folks to get in here, hop in as they see this going live. So for those of you who are out there hanging, this is Robert Price, owner of Elite Minds. I am a mental performance coach, also a licensed therapist. And as I mentioned very quickly in the onset of this, um, I had an opportunity to watch a junior PGA Junior League match. It's been a long time since actually seeing and participating in one of those. I now have a younger kid who's 8, who's decided that they would like to do a little golfing. So that's very, very cool. So apologize for the time change from 5:30 to 9. Allow folks the opportunity to hop in. I see some folks hopping in on YouTube. Good to see you all there as well. Obviously on Facebook and Instagram. Everybody is there. Andrew Carr, good to see you there, my friend. So it's a great opportunity for me just to kind of talk to you guys a little bit today. There's this cool thing that I wanted jump in and just talk a little bit about before we actually talk a little bit about the mental playbook and what that actually has to offer. So, some of you have known me for a long time that are listening, and some of you are really new to me. So, but I wanted to share a little bit about um, with the Olympics coming. We really have some really cool situations getting ready to occur. So I've had the opportunity over the last few years now to work with our USA shooting team, and because of that, they're vying to get into the Olympics and try to become a part of the Olympic team. And it's a it's a big deal all the way around. And so, two of the shooters that I was able to work with, Rachel Tozier and Alexis, they're both going to be representing the United States for us in shooting, which is really really cool. Again, it's happening this year, so it is. If you're an athlete, especially in a non-traditional sport like shooting or an Olympic sport, really is what I call that. Many of those things, for you to be able to achieve your goal, to be able to literally represent our country at such an event is such a wonderful, cool, unbelievable experience. And for me to be able to help someone achieve that level of a goal is really, really special to me too. So I just wanted to shout them out because right now, if you are a sport fan of all sports, you're seeing track and field and swimming and other events have to qualify to get into the Olympics. So these two young ladies were able to qualify, be two of the best folks from the United States of America to represent us over in Paris. So it's a really cool thing. So for those of you who know me and know that I work with other than golfers and things, this is just something to share with you. QB, good to see you. I missed you if you were at work earlier. It was a good time. So with further ado, I want to just kind of dig in a little bit today and kind of talk a little bit about a few things that I was able to witness this week, actually, and being able just the blessing to be able to work with juniors and professionals and um, aspiring folk in all endeavors. So I'm going to just start with these. We live in the state of Georgia, and here in the state of Georgia, we had our boys and girls uh, junior championships here in the state, and so that was a great thing to be a part of. To get to see some folks do the things that they had an opportunity to do. So but what I did recognize is how hard golf is, as we all know. But more importantly, as a parent watching, it's tough for us as parents. So kudos to the parents out there that get to watch their kids out there on the links because um, it's a challenge sometimes when you see even when your kids doing fantastic, when they're doing bad, when they're doing in between. It's a stressful moment, literally, for all of us as parents because at the end of the day, we ultimately want our children to do whatever their best is, and so when they're not able to do that, it adds a new layer of stress sometimes on that parent because we don't necessarily always know what to do or what to say to help our athlete out. So, for those parents that are out there, one of the things that I do and always share with my players, but my kids in general, is that um, it does sound like a little bit of a cliche in some aspects, but the results, the outcomes, are not necessarily the only thing that you are loved for. So ultimately, knowing and recognizing and being very honest with them around their play and their performance, but also asking them, so what were their goals? We should know that if we're parents, that we care about our kids and what they're doing, what their goals were for the event, for the holes that they played, and just walk through those accomplishments because those things ultimately are the truths. And so the truths are the things that we really want to be able to hang our hand and head on because we all have feelings, and that's just the way that it goes. But we recognize that our feelings are not necessarily the truth. Our feelings are our feelings, and so in order to quote unquote get out of our feelings, we must at all costs start asking and looking for the truths of the things that occurred. And once we're able to do that, that is a way in which we build confidence because now what you're starting to understand is that there are certain things, real things that actually happen that make it make sense, and it's not because of how I feel or how I didn't feel. Um, so feelings are amazing. We all have them, but the reality of it is when we're trying to evaluate, we cannot evaluate from a place of feeling. You have to evaluate from a place of truth, and the truth is lying usually in some level of statistics or numbers or things that we're really doing a good job of tracking. And if we do a really good job of tracking, we start understanding, where did the round unravel, or where did it pick up speed, or where are the things that happen during that round that are in our best interest? And can we then, now we know that information, can we now duplicate that over and over again so that way we can actually start to see the gains that we're looking for? And so I think that sometimes when we start to ask ourselves, especially if you're out there and you're a player and you're thinking about this, when you're asking yourself, well, how did I play? Um, how did I play? Sometimes we give our feeling about it. We say it's bad, it was good, it was indifferent, it was not our best. But to be honest, when what did we do? And so what did we do is we did these things. We did X out of Y's. We did this many things. We got that many things. And so once we do that, we start to understand really how we perform, but more importantly, of what we need to do to improve on those performances. I think when we walk away from a performance with that information, then that means that that performance was a success because now we're able to walk away with information that we need. Either, you've heard this saying before, but if you're not winning, you're learning. So if you're not winning, you're learning. That's so important because you have to be learning at all times. But what are you then learning? Are you learning the information and the holes in your game that you need? Are you understanding some of the spaces and places where you need to improve to get a little bit better at what you're doing? So there's all that good stuff and goodness wrapped in it, and we really have to do a good job of ensuring that our kids specifically, and you guys who are out there that are listening that are golfers, are understanding how do I start to actually make the right judgments around my game. What kind of statistics am I keeping? What are the things that I really spent my energy and effort in practicing to, and did I see that play out on the golf course? I think that's so crucial because just before hopping on live with you guys, I was talking with a client around um, his experiences at the Indiana Open and the Indiana State Am and things of that sort for him. And so we literally were just kind of chatting a little bit about putting and how does it feel to literally walk off the green having made a putt for birdie or par, and you literally walking off saying, man, I don't even know how that got in the hole, because you were disgusted at the stroke or the pace or the line maybe that you even took. So sometimes even when you make a putt, you still didn't put it in a way that you felt was good, right? And so you still walk off the putt with some ineffective thoughts about what you did. And so we really are continuing to shift those things because at the end of the day, we want to be able to say to ourselves, I actually hit that ball at the speed that I wanted it to go in the hole. And the more often that we walk off the green saying those things, then the easier that it will become as the ball starts to fall in, A, and then B, ultimately building confidence with your putting for the day. And every once in a while, as you all know that are listening, sometimes you're going to make them and sometimes you're going to miss them. And oftentimes when I'm working with a player and they say, well, I missed a lot of putts today, I typically am asking, so how did you miss them? Did you miss them on the high side, on the low side? Was it a speed issue? Was it a read issue? Again, we're learning. And we have to learn this information so that way we can start to build the confidence that we need in order for us to be successful, especially in stressful moments. So those are some of the wonderful things that I actually get to do and discuss and work with my athletes inside of the playbook. So for some of you guys that are out there, congratulations, Dad Saxon, if you're still listening. Super excited about the announcement. That is awesome. So, getting to play college golf and watch our children's dreams come alive and come to fruition is always a wonderful thing. So, just a sidebar out there. Sorry about that. But ultimately, what we're looking at and trying to understand is that when we are literally at every level of this particular sport, it's about building confidence. And no matter if you're at the elite level of this, if you're those athletes are still building confidence in what they're doing. You heard it this weekend with Bryson, about his team and about all of the things. And then ultimately what he shared was, I found the clubs that I needed. These are the shafts or these are the things. And putting all that together helps him build the confidence that he was going about things in the right way. And that's the thing. It's at every single level. And so how do you continue to build that for people is one of the major pieces that I get to do inside of the playbook itself, because it's such a crucial piece. So once we start to understand that, because once we really understand, like, man, I have an opportunity to build confidence in a way that's going to allow me the ability to actually sustain and withstand the winds that are coming, the storms that will show up. That stuff is happening in golf, and so we have to be able to build ourselves the right confidence, reservoir, the right amount of it, so that way we're able to walk and work through some things. And so I'm actually going to share a little piece to this, so that you all can actually start to see this a little bit. I'll hop right to it. So this will be very helpful for those that are in here that are paying attention. So one of the things that I talk a lot about is how we think, the importance of how we think. And so this is effective thinking. This is a topic that I walk through, that I work through, because when we're talking about confidence, we're talking about how to build it, we're talking about how to sustain it. One of the issues that we all struggle with is the things that we're saying to ourselves about ourselves. And everybody out there who's listening understands this. It doesn't matter if we play a sport, if we are just working. We all struggle with this particular issue or challenge. Is the things that we say to ourselves, and what are those things, and how do we actually do this in a way that's a lot better, a lot easier for us? So, one of the things that I love sharing is this, right? So, how do we think? How do we think effectively? These are the three components to effective thinking. What I always share with folks is that you can have one of these three components of your thoughts. That's perfectly fine. You could have two. Ultimately, if you could have three, that would be even better, right? That would be amazing. So the stronger you feel about yourself, the stronger that your thoughts are about what you're doing, then you're going to have just a much more capacity to maintain the confidence that we're building. So you're going to be able to think with purpose. You're going to be able to have productive thoughts. You're going to be able to have thoughts that are laced in a sense of possibility. So if you're able to have these three items essentially in the way in which we think, then what you're going to start to do is see the truth about what you have going on. And again, getting out of those feelings and getting into the truth. The truth is what the truth is, and we have to be able to monitor the truth. We have to manage it. We have to track it. It's such a wonderful thing, because if we don't track it, what will end up happening is this: we're going to have ineffective thoughts, right? The ineffective thoughts are going to be things that are absolutely random. We're going to be reactive, right? Reactionary towards things. You see this all the time. And ultimately, it's going to be restrictive in what you think you can do. It also, when you think like this, I mean, sometimes what I tell people is that it squeezes your brain. And if it's squeezing your brain, then it's squeezing your hand. If it's squeezing your hand, you're not able to hold the golf club or any particular instrument, but particularly the golf club, in a way that's going to free you up, to free more tension. So that way you can actually do the task that you've been practicing for 2, 3, 4 days a week, hours on end. And so this is such a crucial understanding: is how am I thinking and what am I thinking, so that way I can actually have more effective thoughts versus ineffective thoughts. For those of you who are new with me and you're seeing this thing for the first time, you absolutely are probably saying to yourself, well, why aren't you saying positive thinking? Well, positive thinking sometimes is still ineffective. These types of thoughts will allow us to get our task, be able to think, and put our thoughts on the task at hand that we're trying to accomplish. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you're thinking about the task that you have, but also thinking about them effectively. So it's just something for all of us to kind of note and make sure that we're tracking. So these are wonderful concepts that happen all inside of the mental playbook for those of you who are looking for opportunities. So if you're on Instagram, I always like to share. I have a free Facebook group. That group is for you. It will allow you an opportunity to hop in there. The link is in my bio, to become a part of that group, and then to be able to receive some things that are only unique to the group. And so, literally, right now in that group, they're having an opportunity to test drive the mental playbook for 2 weeks at no cost to them. So that way they can kind of get a good feel of like the skills in which they're going to be learning. They get a pre assessment, they get a couple of sessions with myself. And so that's just kind of a nice little way for them in the inside of the group, people to have an opportunity to see exactly what it is that Robert does. How does mental performance coaching actually help my kid? There's testimonials obviously in there as well, so that people can start to see. But ultimately, being able to hop in that group will give you the access that you need for many of these things. But thanks again for many of those folks that I see right now on my Instagram live as well. So it's always a pleasure to have you all there. If you're inside of the Facebook group, again, there's a wonderful offer in there for you. There's only for 25 people. We are already down a few people, so that is a good thing for me. And so if you're really looking at getting an opportunity to test drive that playbook for you and your junior golfer, please send me an email. For those of you who are watching, it is on the screen. My email will be just so that you have access for that as well. But make sure that you send me. That is the only way that I'm going to be able to track efficiently, effectively, in rank order, because 25 is 25, and if you're emailer number 32, I want to be able to know that there were others ahead as we start to get these things sent out to folks so that they have access to it. So, today was a very, very good day. As I shared with you guys in the beginning of the call that came on a little later, my time changed because I got to go see a junior PGA Junior League with my youngest kid in there, earning those flags. If you're a kid or a parent of a PGA Junior Leaguer, you know all those cool rules. Best ball, scramble format. Really good way for kids to learn golf, make it fun for them. So that was a treat today to kind of restart, if you will, with another one of my kids. So thank you guys for being patient and just hanging in there with me. If you're also looking for the recording of these as well, it's inside of the Facebook group as well. So for you guys that are out there inside of the group, that's where these recordings land as well. So that way, if you need to go back and take a look, you can do that as well. So this is obviously a great time. If anyone has any questions for me, please feel free to throw them in the comment sections. If you're on Instagram, you can absolutely throw a question inside of there as well. So if you have some questions, please let me know what they may be, and I'll be more than willing to answer them for you. So I will stay on for a little while, allow for some questions to be asked, and I will rock and roll from there. So again, it's always a pleasure. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. I know that I mentioned that these are 30-minute calls. Essentially, we've been on for about 32 or so minutes, technically on the time, but we get started a little later than anticipated. And so, obviously, learning technology is a wonderful thing. It's a constant struggle. So we got these things going off on all the platforms. So we're on the YouTube if you're there. We're on Instagram if you're there. We're obviously inside of Facebook groups as well. So it's always a pleasure to find things in every place. So we're all everywhere we need to be. So if my Graham family has any questions, let me know. You can throw them in the chat. Yes. So to clarify, this is intended for parents to learn how to best guide their players. Yes, and no, all at the same time. The yes, it is for parents to help you learn how to manage your kid, but also to give your kid the mental playbook so that way they actually understand how to have a mental game that will sustain them in competition golf. So it's both. When I am working with my clients, i.e., the golfer, I am also working with the parents. So the parents, and that's a great question. I will answer that too for you. That is perfect. So what I do is I'm working with both the parents and the player, so that way we can walk along this journey together. Um, so if you're, for an example, you mentioned that you're in your high school soccer. Um, and you're a junior golfer. You coach you like a high school soccer boys. So absolutely. So the beautiful thing is my role is to come alongside your daughter. And there's a dad in this group that I've worked with his daughter as well. Um, is to help you manage the mental game for your kiddo so that they're strong, but obviously to give you, the mom and dad, skills to help them manage their mental game. But obviously, I'm going to help you manage your own space too, because I'm also a parent of two, now three golfers. And so that's a really cool, just an extra added wonderful piece. So, yes, I get to come alongside you and your daughter. But ultimately, the services are for both moms, dads, and your junior golfer. Because ultimately, just like I'm out there with my kids for 4 or 5 hours, you're out there with your kids for 4 or 5 hours. So you get to see things that I wouldn't normally see, and then you're able to communicate with me those things, and then we work collaboratively together. So thanks for your question on Instagram. That is an awesome question, and you can always email me too, and I'll throw that in the chat so you can have that there. I love your question. It says, I'll just read it out loud. So, because not everyone, I just remember, not everyone can read the Instagram comments. So, it was this particular parent said, I'm not a golfer. My daughter is a junior golfer, and I coach her like I coach my high school soccer boys. And I think I'm doing more harm than good. And so, my job is to help this parent work with their daughter, but ultimately have if 99% or 90% or 85% of golf is mental, then that means we have to spend 85, 90, 99% of our time working on the mental aspects of golf, especially once we have the technical skills. So that's one of the beautiful things that we get to do. So I put my email in the Instagram chat for you. I love Instagram handles because I there's no way I could say that's your name. No, you're very welcome. Uh, awesome. Any questions on Facebook? Let's see here. YouTube. Uh, yes. So one question here. Simple. So on Facebook, you would go to at Elite Minds LLC or at Elite Minds LLC. You could literally put that in, and you'd search for me and my page, and then on my page is a link to my group. That would be one easy, fast way to find me. Um, I have this information here, but nobody. It's like you got to take a picture and then type it all in. But if you're wondering how to hop into that group in a different way, you can absolutely do that too. Um, if you're probably way more tech savvy than I am, so that's the URL to hop into it. So it's Elite Minds Champion Mindset Coaching Group on Facebook. That is the like long drawn out name, I guess, of the group. You can hop in there. There's a couple of questions for you to answer, uh, and I'll pop you in there. So um, that's what we got going on. All right. Uh, and again, if Steve, if you're on here, congratulations to your family again. Collective. It's never one person's journey. So I'm so thankful that you're able to acknowledge that in your post. So thanks again for doing that. So with that being said, I am getting ready to close shop here, because it is 9:38 and it has been a very long day, long week actually. So we're going to, if you have questions, comments, please hop in the Facebook group. It's a great place to be able to do that. Have a little bit faster access to me. And good luck to some of my golfers that will be playing this upcoming Monday at their U.S. girls and boys junior qualifiers here in the state of Georgia. I'm sure those things are going on all over the country as folks are trying to, um, you know, for the girls' side, get to a really cool place. So just looking forward to seeing that happen. And so if you have questions, please feel free to send me a note. You can find me in all the places. So on Instagram at Elite Minds LLC, on Facebook, same handle as well. Or you can shoot me an email, which I put in, it's in my bio as well, but for Instagram folks. But even on Facebook, you guys can find me very quickly there. So with that being said, I want you guys to have a wonderful night. Blessings to all. And I will be talking to you all very soon. So next Thursday, um, I do believe we'll meet again. We'll check the time. We'll see how things are going. Probably be out on a golf course at some point on that day, hopefully, and so we'll see how things continue to shake out. So, with that being said, looking forward to working with you guys out there and getting an opportunity really to turn your potential into reality by really accessing the thing that we know that is one of the most important things is the 6 inches between your ears and really tightening up the mental game that you have in order to make you all successful as parents and obviously as junior golfers. Talk with you guys soon. Have a great evening.